I've worked in a variety of locations and in populations too. I worked in Cleveland, working with chemical dependency. And then I started my work in private practice, and that's where I had exposure working with children. After experiencing chemical dependency work, private practice work, and more specialized and focused LGBTQIA work, I saw the opportunity to work in a school, and I have enjoyed working with children and adolescents before. I've always had an interest in doing the therapy in the school systems, but I've never really known how to get into that. And so it was just an opportunity that unfolded, and I couldn't say no. Being in the school, the students are right there. So the biggest difference is they're not coming in, sitting in a waiting room with their parents, and then the parents providing a check-in or updates throughout the week. It's a little bit more of you go to their classroom, you go and get them yourself, you bring them there, or they come down to you, and you try to touch base with parents as much as possible outside of that structure. So it's convenient for parents if they're wanting to have their child be seen by a school-based therapist, because it's easier access than it is to try to get a student or a child to a therapist at an office location during daytime hours. We reach so many more clients and students that way by being present throughout their day. I had a graduating senior. They met me at the beginning of the year. They weren't too keen on therapy, or me for that matter. Their biggest concern was people that I open up to leave. And so I'm a senior, I'm gonna leave. And you're going to leave, and this is going to change. And so that closed them off initially. And I kept affirming them, that does happen. There are transitions in life, and it's how we adapt to that those things are important. As we made it to graduation, they came into my office and they said, your energy really made a difference, where I could open up and I could feel comfortable and I could feel safe. And that really just hit me. It's not often that as a therapist we have that positive feedback, right? We get the gritty, we get the things that are hard to say, we get pushback, and we roll with it. And so to have a student say that, it made a difference for them, that they saw that it was just a moment, right? And those moments stick with you. There's a lot that I'm looking forward to. We have been working tirelessly on just understanding how to make our program run more efficiently for clinicians and the school districts that we're placed with. The main thing that I really am excited about is building consistency. And I'm excited that the work that we're really putting into improving our school-based program builds that consistency, not only for the schools and the students and the people that we serve, but for our clinicians. So that way they feel like they can have a really supportive work-life balance. I would probably say 3 key things: network, educate, and advocate. And that can be applied across many different locations of work and populations of work. But more specifically in our school settings for our therapists, if we go in, we do our job in our office, and we leave at the end of the day and we don't speak to anyone, staff, administration, teachers, even janitorial services, we're not creating those connections to help us educate and advocate on what it is that we're doing in that school. And so networking is truly the foundation of being able to be successful in a school setting, because if we need assistance from someone, we have to know who to reach out to. And if we need to educate a teacher, we can do that education thoughtfully and appropriately and gently as well, because we want our teachers to work as a team with us. We want administration to work as our team, essentially. And so we can't do that if we go in, do our job, and just leave and speak to no one. And so even in private practice work, networking and educating and advocating, it looks different because we're not working with administration when we're in a private practice. We're working with coworkers, fellow therapists, maybe even caseworkers, and administration that does more office work for us, who takes care of our schedules, who takes care of our billing, our marketing. That is all facets of what we need to be networking within and support one another, because it's hard to do your job as a therapist just seeing the clients. And so then advocacy comes in so many different ways based off of those two things. In a school system, we might need to advocate for our student. Maybe they're not receiving services that are open to them, or a teacher might not have that perspective on supporting someone with challenging mental health. And so we advocate for our student to say, hey, we might need to approach this differently in the classroom, or with a parent, we might need to approach this differently at home. In a private practice setting, we advocate for our client. All right, let's talk to parent. Let's explore how you can advocate for yourself, right? We even educate them to advocate for themselves. And so there's a lot of different ways that these can be applied, but I would say those are probably the three key things that I would give advice on, is to make sure that we're keeping all of those in mind.